With the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears draft reaction video. I'll be having a draft reaction video to every single pick the Bears make this year. I appreciate all of you guys that tuned into my live stream tonight. I'll be having another live stream tomorrow night for rounds 2 and rounds 3. But yeah, guys, talking about this pick, a lot of Bears fans were not the happiest with this pick, but I was not one of them, okay? If you guys looked at my Twitter account the last couple of days, I really thought that Colston Loveland was tight end 1 in the NFL draft this year. I thought he has a much higher ceiling than Tyler Warren does. Tyler Warren is a better blocker for sure, but if you look at overall receiving ability, route running ability, speed, athleticism, Colston Loveland by far, in my opinion, is the tight end 1 in this NFL draft. And even though a lot of evaluators out there disagreed, a lot of people had Tyler Warren as tight end 1, I personally had Colston Loveland as tight end 1. So I've been consistent on this. Like, if the Bears did go tight end in round 1, I wanted Colston Loveland. So I'm not that mad at this pick, guys. Obviously, I'm not as happy as I would have been for a Ashton Jeanty or a Mason Graham, because those were by far my top 2 options in the draft for the Chicago Bears this year, or like a Abdul Carter if we traded all the way up. But guys, trading up, especially for Ashton Jeanty, we would have had to give up a second round pick this year. I think probably would have been too much, even though I would have been excited for it. To trade up for a running back, that would have been awfully risky, okay? Because then you have to be sure that Ashton Jeanty is a Hall of Fame talent to make it worth it to trade a second round pick to go up and get your guy. And, you know, obviously with the Browns trading back in the draft, that made it kind of hard for the Bears to make the move they wanted to make to the Jaguars pick, to pick number 5 to get Ashton Jeanty to jump the Raiders. So, you know, when the Jaguars traded up, I basically gave up on hope for the Ashton Jeanty to Chicago dream, because I knew that probably was not going to happen. So I said in the stream tonight that I was expecting the pick to be either Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, or, you know, one of the offensive linemen, one of the defensive linemen. And sure enough, it was Colston Loveland. And guys, if you are hating on this pick right now, if you're a Bears fan mad at this pick, I encourage you guys to look at the history of Ben Johnson in the NFL. He started out as a tight ends coach. This guy knows tight end, the position of tight end, very, very well, okay? He coached up tight ends in the NFL before he became OC. So if you guys don't trust Ben Johnson's judgment on tight ends, the same guy that advocated for Sam Laporta on the Detroit Lions, who's been so damn solid for the Lions, like, who are you guys to say you're smarter than Ben Johnson? Obviously, I totally get if you guys are not the happiest at the pick, because we already had Cole Kmet, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how the Bears utilize both Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet, okay? It's going to be 2 tight end sets pretty often on this team. And I understand if you're a big Cole Kmet fan, you're probably not the happiest at this pick, but even I, as a big Cole Kmet fan, can understand this pick, because Colston Loveland is a much better receiving threat at tight end than Cole Kmet was, okay? Cole Kmet was a solid all-around tight end, but I don't think Cole Kmet had the elite top 5, top 3 ability that a tight end like Colston Loveland has. And again, guys, this was 100% a Ben Johnson pick. I guarantee you Ben Johnson advocated for this guy. So if you don't trust the pick, you're basically saying you don't trust Ben Johnson. I trust Ben Johnson 1,000% to use Colston Loveland a lot in his rookie year. I think he could be, you know, maybe even a Pro Bowl candidate in his rookie year, because I really expect him to get a lot of the receiving targets on this team at the tight end spot. And again, it kind of sucks that Cole Kmet is going to be somewhat demoted, I feel like, to tight end 2 on this team. But guys, again, if Ben Johnson really thinks that this guy's going to be a stud, like a top 5 elite tight end, I'm not going to fight back against that judgment, because even before Ben Johnson made this pick, I was a big fan of Colston Loveland. At Michigan, he had so many big-time moments as a receiving tight end in that offense. But let's talk more about what he's going to be bringing to the Chicago Bears. So Colston Loveland is 6'5", weighs 248 pounds. He didn't do much athletic testing at the combine, so don't really have much athletic testing results to report on. But if you look at his tape, he was a very fast, very athletic, field stretching type of tight end. If you look at his film at Michigan, there were so many moments of him just dominating down the field, being a field stretcher, being a guy that can really go down the field and separate, that can get open, that can use leverage, that can use his athletic abilities to get open against linebackers, against safeties. I mean, this guy's going to be an athletic freak, an athletic mismatch in the middle of the field, which Ben Johnson is going to be able to utilize a lot in this offense. I really guarantee you guys, like, there's going to be so much 12 personnel used on this team in which you have Colston Loveland as a top receiving option. You got Cole Kmet too. You got, you know, Roma Dunze potentially, or DJ Moore, and then a running back on the field too. Like, there's going to be so many, you know, unique formations that Ben Johnson can use now with Colston Loveland on this team, because Colston Loveland is a weapon at the NFL level. Don't just think of him as a tight end. I mean, he is a receiver, I feel like, and a tight end at the same time. Maybe not a tremendous blocker. If you look at his film at Michigan, again, he wasn't like as good of a blocker as Tyler Warren, I would say, but I feel like Colston Loveland made so much more sense for this team than Tyler Warren, because you already have the all-around tight end in Cole Kmet. Okay, as much as fans criticize Cole Kmet's blocking ability, I still feel like he's solid overall as a blocker. He's not elite or anything, but he's good enough to be a blocking tight end and to be a receiver too. So I really think that Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet can both coexist in the same offense, maybe similar to how Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez coexisted in the same offense, hopefully without the murder. Hopefully Cole Kmet doesn't murder anybody, or Colston Loveland doesn't murder anybody. But yeah, jokes aside, guys, like, there are ways to utilize 12 personnel very effectively in the NFL. And right now the Chicago Bears have one of the best tight end rooms in all of football. So, you know, if injuries happen, or even if injuries don't happen, there's so many ways in which you can utilize both Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet on the field at the same time and just create a monstrous tight end duo. And for a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams to have two really top level tight end options in both Loveland and Cole Kmet at your disposal, that is big time. A young quarterback's best friend is a top level tight end, and now the Chicago Bears have two of them, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like Colston Loveland is going to be the tight end one now on this team, only because we drafted him at pick number 10. So even though we're paying Cole Kmet, you know, $12 million per year, I don't think that's enough to, you know, prevent Colston Loveland from being the tight end one on this team and having the majority of receiving yards, which again might anger some Bears fans. But if you look at his route running ability, his receiving ability, his ability to make contested grabs and, you know, score touchdowns and just be a field stretcher down the field, I think this pick is going to make a lot more sense to Bears fans when the games actually start, because you're going to see Colston Loveland used all over the football field. If I read you guys his stats at Michigan, 2022 as a freshman, he had 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, not that much production, but 2023 he had a monster year, 45 receptions, 649 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. And then last year, 2024, he had 582 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns. But the stats weren't as good as they could have been last year, because Michigan did not have a good quarterback last year. They didn't have JJ McCarthy anymore. So I feel like if they did have a good quarterback, his stats would have been even more, because again, if you watch him on tape, there's so many examples of him getting wide freaking open, and at the NFL level, going up against those linebackers, those safeties, like, he is 100% going to be open a lot at the NFL level. So you're just giving Caleb Williams another weapon on this offense, which he's going to use frequently throughout the 2025 NFL season, both in the red zone, both in the middle of the field, and just anywhere you can think of. He's good at getting yards after the catch too, more so than a Cole Kmet. Guys, I'm not trying to hate on Cole Kmet in this video, but I've always said Cole Kmet is like a solid tight end, like top 12 tight end, but he's not truly elite. And a lot of Super Bowl winning teams, they had elite tight ends, like the Kansas City Chiefs with Travis Kelce, like, you know, the Patriots with Rob Gronkowski. Like, a lot of Super Bowl winning teams had like dominant options at tight ends. So if Ben Johnson truly feels like Colston Loveland is like a missing piece on this offense, I'm going to trust his judgment on this pick. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this pick down below in the comments. Again, a lot of Bears fans on my stream were not happy whatsoever about this pick. So I'm expecting a lot of Bears fans in the comments to not really be that happy. But again, guys, I ask you the question, do you trust Ben Johnson? If you trust Ben Johnson, you're going to be willing to give this pick a chance. And even before this pick was made, like, I was personally a bigger fan of Colston Loveland than Tyler Warren. So for people out there saying that, oh, the Bears selected the second best tight end at pick number 10, I disagree with that assessment. Sure, some mock drafts had Tyler Warren ahead of Colston Loveland, but for the Chicago Bears, Colston Loveland fit their offense more, I feel like, than Tyler Warren did, if you want to incorporate Cole Kmet still in this offense. And guys, you got to pick the best player available, and there just weren't too many like top level options available at pick number 10 for the Chicago Bears. Sure, we could have went, an edge rusher, maybe a Michael Williams or Shamar Stewart or whoever else, but like at offensive line, I didn't really like the options there at pick number 10. Kelvin Banks went one pick ahead of the Chicago Bears at number 9 to the Saints, so there weren't really that many offensive line options available. If you look at the defensive line, maybe Michael Williams, maybe Jalen Walker, maybe Shamar Stewart, but I still would not be like extremely ecstatic about any of those options. So to select Colston Loveland, like, I'm 100% happy at that pick. Okay, with what the Chicago Bears had on the table, I'm not going to be mad at that pick whatsoever. And now the Chicago Bears still have 3 picks on day 2. They didn't have to sacrifice a round 2 or round 3 pick to go up and get an Ashton Genty or somebody else, which I'm pretty happy about that we didn't have to sacrifice, one of our day 2 picks, because the sweet spot in this draft, honestly, is like rounds 2 to round 3. There's so much talent in rounds 2 and round 3 where I feel like it's a really good year to have multiple round 2 picks. So the Chicago Bears can do a lot of damage tomorrow. Hopefully get maybe an offensive lineman, maybe an edge rusher, maybe a running back, hopefully a running back somewhere on day 2, because I do feel like the Bears have to upgrade from DeAndre Swift. But we'll see what the Bears do tomorrow. Leave your comments down below. I'm personally pretty happy about this pick, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, guys, bear down.